I think for me, it's what can LethuL bring to the table. I think LethuL, one of the most consistent players I've ever seen play the game. Very rarely do we see a bad stat line from him. I think he and the rest of the squad would agree. Like when LethuL's on, it's pretty hard for the Sentinels team to lose games. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on LethuL just because he tends to be one of the most consistent players, and if he just steps up to play his full potential, this team should win this series.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think LethuL has probably one of the toughest roles to play here on Sentinels as well. It's something that isn't talked about enough. I think there's always one player on a top team who has a role to play, which is you're kind of sacrificing the ability to go +1 in your KD, +2 in your KD to get jobs done. That means jumping in the stronghold first. That means dealing damage onto 2 or 3 players before you fall. LethuL is one of the best in the world at doing that. Sometimes it doesn't reflect in the statistics, but at the same time, there's a variance, right? It doesn't matter if you go neg1, neg2, neg3, but you've got to be around that range, around evens, if you want to get the best out of yourself, your team to perform.
You bring up a great point, because LethuL right now, coming into this event, and also yesterday overall in the Pro Series, is a .88 KD, and yesterday is a .86 KD, and that tells you what the caliber of player he is, the fact that he's going just a slight bit negative. Like you say, he's an all-rounder, he's getting the job done, being where he needs to be in terms of objective. Being the only player that is slightly negative on that squad tells you a lot about what he has to do in order for this team to win games.
It's crazy how something so simple could change maybe how the Sentinels rosters look, though. If he boosts that up to a 0, maybe just slightly above throughout the games, then this roster can certainly click. And you're looking at SnakeBite, you're looking at Frosty, you're looking at LethuL. We know what they can all do. I just want to see the aggression yesterday. One thing that I kind of was chatting about with LethuL yesterday as well was when they really took the game to the Cloud9 roster back in Halo 5, the first time that we saw it, it was when they met aggression with aggression. Now, are we going to see that from Sentinels, or is it XSET going to be the team here who comes off and kicks off day number 2 here in Anaheim with a little bit of an upset? We're going to find out now. We're into our first map of the series. You can see we're heading to Bazaar. We got some capture the flag to deal with.
A great way to start off this series, without a doubt. These two teams going to be able to feel each other out just a little bit different from, say, a Strongholds start or an Oddball start, where you're going to see a little bit more off the break. Here we go, game number 1.
Here we go then, and let me tell you, that grapple is going to become more and more important to these teams as we see Halo Infinite progressing. For now, it's going to be Suspector, who we watch off the break, but he's just watching 2 teammates fall here as LethuL and SnakeBite pick up kills, and not only that, it's going to be LethuL who picks up the first overshield.
LethuL with very good cover there. You see he was the only one who went bottom middle. They did not send anyone extra double doors or over to the pillars, but instead that flag's going to start. Let's see how LethuL plays this one. He's got a little bit of extra time as well, and look at that perfect dynamo nade off the wall.
And look at that, LethuL picks up 2 kills while LethuL stays alive and moves that objective. This is the roles you want to be seeing being played to a T here by Sentinels. It's a perfect start for them. LethuL's got that flag all the way back past the double doors. Now it's just about picking up those kills.
Yeah, Frosty just needs to play alive here. Oh boy, and Cratos starting things off there with a nice little win for himself. And we'll see what Suspector can do. Not able to go back. That's 2 dead.
Look who's picking up those kills as well. It was LethuL while SnakeBite slid in to get that touch. And it's going to be within the first couple of minutes of this game. Sentinels put in that first flag. That is a hot start from the guys on Sen.
Very hot start, and you don't always see a flag cap. I should say you rarely see a flag cap that early on this game type. Certainly the way that they wanted to kick off this day number 2.
3 dead here once again for XSET. And look at Sentinels pushing forward already. There's a Mangler in the hands of Cratos, who picks up a vital kill onto SnakeBite. Manages to stay alive for a few seconds, but there's LethuL for the cleanup. The flag moving once again here in the hands of Sentinels.
Yeah, 2 dead though. We'll have to see what LethuL is thinking here. He's only got 1 teammate alive on the balcony, but they're able to get it pretty far there considering only 2 players were alive.
Great positioning as well here from LethuL. You see he throws that flag out and then positions himself up in this hut, and this is such a frustrating position to deal with, especially when you got someone like LethuL with one of the best long-range battle rifles you can ask for.
Look at the awareness. Those 2 players fly through the bar. LethuL and co know exactly where Cratos is in the tree. Right away they turn the corner. Perfect timing. Their great understanding of where they need to be and what they need to do.
That flag is going to be sent back home, but it's not going to be for too long because you can see the pressure coming in once again. The thrust from LethuL, and I tell you what, it was a little tickle under the chin there for Cratos on his way into the death screen.
Not afraid to throw a little extra there. I think LethuL knew that his life was over, and at the end he was going to add a little spice to this last moments of that life.
Well, SnakeBite's here with the second overshield of the game for Sentinels, who have had a fantastic start here, but XSET have managed to slow things down ever so slightly, just for a few seconds. But as I say, that SnakeBite's going to be moving this flag. Potentially a second one, as Cratos is going to be in the bar. Has to be dealt with here by Sentinels. SnakeBite now going to turn his attention back to look for any spawners.
Oh my gosh, look at that play from SnakeBite. Using that overshield so wisely. Uses the thrust, takes those shots, gets the damage onto Cratos and BR, picks up another kill as well. This is great stuff. Look at the numbers on the left side of the board. Sentinels heavily outslaying, and 3 dead for XSET right now, flagged through the double doors.
Kratos last alive. He manages to get the nade. He threads the needle to slow down that flag cap, but Kratos is the furthest player forward here. Sentinel should be able to rally this flag. It's SnakeBite within his hands. LethuL picks up another kill as they go up by 2.
Sentinels ready to play on day number 2. Like you said, 2 dead again on the side of XSET. Look at the numbers, folks. Royal 2, 9-3. Frosty, 9-3. Right now on the other side, it's Cratos, the man of the hour of the trash talk you heard before this series. 3-7 right now. We'll see how he responds.
One thing to point out here is how well the Sentinels have controlled everything on the map. A great example of this is the fact that SnakeBite is actually taking his time to wait for those dynamo grenades off spawn while still having a rocket to play with as well. Sentinels controlling the map completely.
When I was a kid, they said, eat your vegetables. Now they're telling the kids, wait for your dynamos because it pays off in the end. Great pressure from SnakeBite once again. Great use of the rockets. Just going to hold and patrol up on the bar. New overshield in 8.
Suppress picks up 2 kills. That means the battle for mid-map control is about to come forward for both of these teams. LethuL picks up 1 as well, but it's all about the overshield. And look at this SnakeBite. That's back-to-back picks up of dynamos. And you can't push through those things, which is going to mean he can secure that next OS. SnakeBite doing a great job there, just recognizing map situations where everyone is and what's the most important thing to pick up.
Artic trying to get away with the peak shot. Eventually, he will melt the overshield, so it's well done. But SnakeBite's a one-man show down there. Grabs the dynamos. That's all he needed to grab the overshield. He's able to throw it back into the hut, and just like that, they're able to secure that 3rd overshield.
2 dead per side here. Kratos is going to get taken down by Royal 2, who seems like he has a bit of a point to prove today. I think he was a little bit disappointed with his own performance yesterday, especially in the series that we've talked about enough, and I'm going to leave it to one side against Cloud9. But today, it looks like a different beast. You can see that in the stat lines, 11-4 for the Canadian.
Suppress there, trying to get something going in the hut. Actually, he'll get caught off guard. Nades will come through as well. That helps Royal 2 pick up the double. Nice control, nice teamwork in the tree, which is what you need when you're pushing on Bazaar.
2 teammates caught on the elbow here as well. Suspector, suppressed, and Cratos all taking damage, and Royal 2 just waiting for the cavalry to arrive. Look at the teamwork as LethuL pokes around the corner to get the beat down. LethuL will pick up another one as well, so Suppress is going to have to double back for just a few seconds here because you know the pressure's going to be coming, and LethuL, big plays from him. He's 10-8 in this game, and he's got his hands on the flag again.
2 dead once again. We've got a fresh spawner in Suppressed. We'll have to see in Observer mode exactly where those spawners are popping. You do see Cratos already across the map as well, playing low. Artic with a pull in the BR as well.
Now this is just a numbers game. You can see what's happening here. Sentinels trying to decide, do we kill this spawner over and over again to try and create some space before we get that touch on the flag? Now you can see Frosty picks up 1, Royal 2 picks up 1, Frosty picks up 3. All of the players consecutively fall here from XSET, and that is going to be the 3rd flag going in here for Sentinels. It was perfect objective efficiency. That is the standout of the difference from Sentinels yesterday and what we're seeing today.
It's a very different day 2 for this Sentinel side, and my God, you got Frosty 16-5 in this game right now. Royal 2 just make that 17-5. Royal 2 just behind him at 14-5 on the other side. Once again, Artic and Cratos 4-14 and 4-12. Sentinels still dominating in the Slay department.
Overshield in their hands as well. I'm pretty sure that Frosty's going to pick up the rockets too. LethuL versus Suspector. He'll win that one. A double kill here for LethuL, who is now 13-8. SnakeBite leading the charge once more.
My God, Sentinels, I don't know when they've looked better recently. They look incredible. Flag is going once again. Look at this, a perfect tag, a perfect toss all the way down. SnakeBite will drop and shoot for a moment, thinking that the pressure would surely have come already, and knew that someone like Cratos might be on the pillars, finds him right away.
Yeah, Cratos is going to get swarmed in about 3 seconds. He doesn't even need to, because look at that. The team fight that came in from Sentinels, they know they can force this one home now, as all of the players are not going to be past that 50-yard line on the map. It was 3 a few seconds ago. Make it 4 as Sentinels move just 1 flag away from closing out map number 1.
Absolutely perfect play that we've seen from Sentinels. There's not really any other way to put it in this game. Keep in mind also, they're shutting down Suspector, the #1 KDA in North America, at a 1.43. Right now, he's been shut down to 7-13 as well. So this is just perfect play. A lot of things to break down, but as the moment slows down here for Onset, I think the #1 thing to watch is how Sentinels controls the opponent's hut, their tree, and their bridge, and how they're able to slay both on their side of the map and their opponent's side. They're ready for those spawners.
It's been really impressive so far. And look at this. This is impressive as well. The trade comes in, though, for Cratos. A good play from him to make sure that at least he got out of that situation. with the kill to his name. The push now coming in from XSET. The first time we've really seen them being able to be aggressive, and they're making it count here. There should be a flagpole coming in, but unfortunately, it looks like Suspector lost a teammate. Artic, though, into position to maybe get that flag moving. Yeah,
like you said, this is really the first pressure that we've seen. They've got 4 minutes on the clock. It would require a marathon of very, very good Halo gameplay in order for them to tie this game up. Possible, though, but first time we've seen them really get into their opponent's space.
LethuL doubling back. SnakeBite going to be there as well. The teamwork has been exceptional from Sentinels so far in this game. It's very rarely that it's going to be a 1v1 battle. We've been watching from their POV, and when you watch it from XSET's POV, you kind of feel that, right? It always feels like one player's getting shot by multiple angles, and they don't really know where they want to locate their BR reticle to try and take a fight that they can turn in their favor. But for now, it's going to be the Dynamos again that are having an impact. Royal2 challenging from the treehouse, but here comes LethuL around the corner. He's going to have the overshield, but it gets extinguished almost immediately.
Great pushes here. How many times on set have we seen a single Sentinels player pushing into hut, tree, or the opponent's bridge? I would dare say it's been either once or 0 times we've even seen that this game. Every time, even when you have LethuL with an overshield, SnakeBite is behind him to clean up that kill. Perfect team pushes coming in from Sentinels as well.
3 dead here for Sentinels, though, and it will be SnakeBite who's just been a pain for XSET. They need to find out where he is. He's got that Bulldog to play with as well. And the longer that SnakeBite survives here, the more resources that XSET are going to have to send back to their side of the map. That's the last thing they're going to want to have to deal with here, Andy, because if they're fighting on their side, they're not going to be able to put numbers where it matters getting that flag moving.
Suppressed as well to win that battle there on the other side. Also, we do see a little grapple out, so LethuL's going to have to just reset on bottom middle. But like you said, they're waiting for those Dynamos. Suppressed, though, with some rockets in hand.
Maybe this is the opportunity here for XSET just to get a little bit of map control, but it seems like every time they get a kill at the moment, it's traded out almost immediately. Frosty looking to do exactly that for Sentinels, as Cratos is going to do some damage, and Suppress can now use that damage to pick up the kill. Can't quite connect with the rocket. That's 2 for 2, not connecting in the way that he would have wanted.
Yeah, a little bit of a prediction rocket there. He thought the player was going low rockets, not onto that middle side bridge. That splash damage just doesn't connect there, so that's going to delay their push a little bit, and that cost them. As you see, Frosty just pokes outside. He's got some help up top as well, and Frosty with a great double kill trade. That's the kind of trade you want to be able to do. They'll be able to reset almost certainly.
Cratos should be taken down here, but no, it's just going to be the shields that are taken down as he stays alive for now. Now Cratos looks like he's going to be doubling back, and that's a big challenge coming in from Cratos. He wins that fight. You can see Sentinel's desperate to get him out of the bar at the moment, trying to show that he can hide behind those drawers, but unfortunately it's going to be Frosty. 2 wides for that one, and now some nice shots onto Artic cross map too.
Yeah, Frosty very quick to fly right into that bar. You don't want a player to stay alive there. You want to take advantage of the damage that was already done by your teammates, and he's very efficient to fly in there. Looks like a few deaths bottom middle though, but that flag is actually going to get pulled.
LethuL going to get that overshield, and one thing that has been a standout so far in this game is Sentinels have had everything, pretty much. There's only one rocket launcher I can remember being in the hands of XSET that we saw from Suppressed, and even when they had it, weren't too efficient with it. They didn't manage to pick up the kills and create the openings they needed to. However, it has been everything being put to use by LethuL and co. He's got that kill now onto Cratos. He's got the flag through the double doors. 3 dead here for XSET. This could well be the final flag.
LethuL, once again, this is your man. He runs bottom middle. He runs the opponent's flag. He does everything he wants. This is potentially your 5th and final flag. LethuL's going to come up top, and that will secure it. 5 flags. Sentinels will take the game.
Absolutely convincing. What else can you say about that first map from Sentinels? Every single piece of the puzzle clicked together there to give them that map win. And it's not just a map win as well. That's Bazaar capture the flag. That's a 5-0.
That's a 5-0. That's a very convincing game 1. That gives you tons of momentum. The fashion in which they did it is not just a momentum building for Sentinels. It is, I will say, completely demoralizing for the side of XSET in a game that you could say, looking at that series layout, might have been a bit of a coin flip. It goes very clearly to the side of Sentinels, and XSET is going to have to hope that their games 2 and 3, which as we said, they won in scrims, they're going to have to hope that they click.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to highlight though, right? XSET are going to be looking maybe at this next game and the one after as the ones that they can kind of wrestle away with the historical wins that they've had very recently against Sentinels on these maps. Online in scrims, yes, we'll put that little asterisk there for you to kind of highlight that it's not a tournament situation, but it still tells you a lot about XSET's ability to win those games against this lineup.
Yeah, that's a tough result for XSET. I think, we saw in their interviews as we take a look, I'll interrupt myself here as we take a look at the stats to see any big outliers. I think we saw what was going on, and it was really about Frosty going 24 and 13. By the way, with 15 assists, we call that a beautiful, beautiful set of stats. 24, 15, and 13, that's wild.
Yeah, they're the ones that you want to wrap up and take home and take into every single map. On the other side of things, you saw Cratos not having the best of games. 9 and 20 for him, just couldn't quite get anything going But this is something to point out here. Just the teamwork was something that stood out to me. The baiting and switching from Sentinels, night and day from what we saw yesterday.
Absolutely. Look at this. Once again, 2 players are pushing into the tree together. That is a death. Royal2 dies there without SnakeBite. Look at this help. Royal2 gets a double kill because of the SnakeBite hitting the Dynamo. Beautiful team pushes. We saw it in the tree. We saw it on the hut. We saw it in the bar. That is how you have to play this game type. And Sentinels is running a clinic. If you're at home, get your notebooks out, start taking notes, because this is how you play this game type.
One thing that really impressed me as well was how good they were at recognizing numbers once they got that flag halfway. You saw there was always a little stutter step, because you know that you've got to pick up those kills if you want to get that second half of the run completed. They did that 5 times. They won that first map 5-0, but now we go on to Aquarius, where I've got to say Sentinels against Cloud9 yesterday, and I'll say many teams against Cloud9, didn't look too healthy. They didn't look like they quite knew how they wanted to play the map. Yes, that was CTF. Maybe Slayer is something a little bit different.
Yeah, XSET is going to need to see what they can bring here. And I also want to keep in mind, XSET did win this game type in scrims, but it was a 50-45. And when you start to get to the 50-45 range, any margin larger than that, I think, is a fairly convincing win when you talk about the highest level of professional Halo. When you start to get to 50-45 and lower of a margin, that game starts to look a little bit less impressive in terms of the stats. So I'm not fully sold on the fact that XSET is the better Aquarius Slayer team at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, it's scrims, right? We always have to kind of throw that in there just so we don't get it twisted too much for the people watching at home thinking, hey, these guys beat them last time. It's like, it's online. Come on, it's a scrim. It's a practice thing. But I think Sentinels, one thing that they do when they see those kind of results is they will see that as the outlier and go, okay, why did we lose this? And they will put the time in to make sure that doesn't happen again. A little bit like I was talking about yesterday, where historically Recharge has been a struggle for Sentinels, right? But the amount of time they would have put into it over the last week or so to make sure that they come in today and put in a much better performance when the tournament matters is something they do almost better than anyone at the moment. And this guy today, I mean, he's definitely going to be a player to watch.
I mean, yeah, even upping the KD further to 1.6 today, just to put that into perspective, a 1.6 KD, if that was his overall stat, would put him #1 in the league. So right now he is performing. Yesterday ranked 5th, but today poised to maybe take the first place spot in terms of KD if he keeps up what he started in game #1.
It will certainly be difficult to do so, but if anyone can do so,
he's the man.
His name is Bradley Bergstrom. And as I took a second there to get that name out because it's more difficult to say live on cameras.
The alliteration gets you.
Exactly.
I hear you.
It certainly makes me trip up. But let's talk about the other side of things for XSET here. Slayer, we've seen on this game can be anyone could beat anyone, it feels like, at certain times if you can control certain maps, weapons, whatever it might be. Aquarius, I would say, maybe a little bit of an outlier for that, because I feel like you can actually put together quite good runs without power weapons too much. There's only the heat wave and the camo to really worry about. You got the sidekicks to play with a little bit, but it's more of a pure map, I would say, than some of the other maps, like, for example, Streets, where you've got Rockets, Bulldog, etc., which can really change the dynamics of a game. I would say this one is kind of more of a shootout between the two teams.
It will be. It really will be a shootout. It'll be a test of who can take those certain gaps, those moments to get the top middle angles, who identifies when you need to rotate, right? How do you tuck back with your team? One thing that Sentinels did so well on Bazaar is understanding when they were allowed to take damage, for example, to engage with an opponent in their bar, right? They know the exact delicate balance of when you engage with players who are across the map and when you don't, and that is going to be so important on Aquarius as well.
It certainly is. We're going to get into the game as quickly as we possibly can. We're just waiting for the players to feel settled and for them to get, everything set up in the way that they need to do for us to get our second map underway. But it gives us a little chance to kind of step away from this series for 2 seconds and kind of highlight some of the other games that we've got coming today. Because you look at one side of the bracket, Andy, we were looking at it yesterday. You got Optic, you got Sentinels, you got FaZe all on one side, plus E United. I tell you what, it's going to be a war today, an absolute war.
It's going to be fantastic. You and I were agreeing. I think we love Pool Play Fridays. I think they set the table very well for an event. But today really is when things get started. You have a different set of stakes when you get into bracket play. And you can already kind of feel that energy in the venue today. There's a lot more on the line as teams are going to start going home as early as the first series of the day in the elimination bracket. So certainly a lot more to play for. And I think XSET needs to make sure that they step up in game #1 because I don't know. I mean, outslayed by over a dozen there. They need to make sure that they reset a bit because that was a slobber knocker of a game 1. And they need to get ready for the second one.
It certainly was. Unless also something to throw into the mix here about this XSET lineup. Yesterday they played against E United. They lost that series, but they lost it 3-2. It was a very, very tight series between the two teams, which shows that this lineup can hang with some of the best in the game. I would say yesterday E United, something seemed a little bit off. I know that Ryan has been a bit under the weather heading into the event, and that might have affected their practice a little bit. But now that they're here, one thing to point out as well, as I saw we have a Discord for this event going at the moment, and there's a little scrim thing going for all the teams and players who want to play against each other before things get underway. At the live event that you see, the two teams that were talking, it was XSET and it was E-United. Anyone want to scrim? Scrim. And those two teams have been playing since very early this morning, which shows how much that they want to make sure today is the day they perform, as every single team does, of course.
Absolutely. Just to go through XSET's full record there in pool play, as you said, it was a 3-1 loss to KCP. After that, it was a 3-2, as you also mentioned, to E-United. There was a 3-0 against Torrance. So as we said, that brings them to an even record coming into this. And really, this can go one of two ways. I think they need to get ready to get set. Even if they don't win this series against Sentinels, you started to talk about it at the end of the Bazaar game. They need to make sure they're finding their footing. Even if this series ends in a loss and they find themselves in the elimination bracket, I think how they play the series will do a lot for their momentum and what kind of energy they carry into the bracket.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's important for everyone today to take as much out of every series as they can, right? I know it sounds like almost an obvious thing to say, right? But it's different when you're in that moment.
It is.
It's different to get knocked down to the elimination bracket and it be a 3-0.
At least a 3-1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A couple of games go your way, and even if it's a 3-0, it has to be a 50-49. It has to be a 3-2 flag. You know, those kind of things which give you something to believe in, where you're looking at a series, you're looking at a game type, and there's a few little mistakes instead of, you know, how to play this. We've just got dumped on.
There's a lot of intangibles there, because keep in mind, these players are so much on these lands. They've been playing for online for weeks now. Some of these players, they were not able to be at Raleigh. Now they're here. This is the time to shine. There will not be a LAN for many, many more weeks after this. And you only have, say, after a series, you might only have something like a half-hour period to get your wits about you, to get ready for this next series. And what type of mindset you take into that series, it will dictate your weekend. And if you cannot come to terms with exactly the things that you need to polish up and work on, which can be difficult to do in 30 minutes time, it'll really catch up to you. So if you don't come into this event ready, it'll really be a factor. But take a look here, talking about maybe some opening strategies coming in for Cratos.
We need to get Cratos a telestrate out. That's what he needs
He needs an iPad or something.
Yeah, exactly. We need to get him all the tools that he needs to illustrate to his teammates exactly what is going down. But they can see, obviously, the strategy is pretty clear. We can't hear it in the comms, but what they're trying to communicate is how they want to play this map. And I think it's these little breaks sometimes can just be good to reinforce things you've gone through in the build-up to these series. Maybe even last night, looking back on some of the VOD, to make sure we don't make the same mistakes and we're playing the game in the way we want to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, maybe this moment here looks like maybe a player just looking into some type of setup issue here, getting something just reset. These moments might slow down the momentum for the side of Sentinels. I don't think it's going to slow down the skill level that we'll see out of them whatsoever.
I
but
agree.
Maybe more of a mental reset opportunity for XSET. Maybe this tiny bit of extra time here as we wait for the players to get into the game might help them, but it looks like actually it's time to go with game number 2.
Here we go then, everybody. Thank you so much for bearing with us as we got everything set up here. It's 1-0 to Sentinels in this series in our winners bracket. If you're just joining us, welcome along to this beautiful morning here in Anaheim as Sentinels look to now add that second game to their tally. If they do so, they'll only be one game away from finding their way through to that next round. For XSET, this is a massive, massive moment as we head into Aquarius Slayer.
Yeah, we'll take a look here at the opening rush to see exactly how this one plays out. Sentinel's going to need to make sure they don't go 4 down early and set up a bad tone for the rest of the game. LethuL with some very good shots to kick things off here.
Yeah, LethuL looks like he's playing with somewhat of a point to prove today. He's won so many individual battles. Suspector, oh, I tell you what, he was close to winning another one. It was the heat wave that there was the difference this time. Suspector also will pick up another. That's a triple from Suspector. Cratos saying he believes Suspector is the best in the game right now. Cratos also going to win a big battle there against Royal 2. Suppressed also has camo. It's reflecting in the scoreline as well. 2-kill lead here for XSET. They've got all the tools to play with.
Frosty, though, with some very good shots against Camo. That will shut down any Camo run and bring the game just within 1. Much better start, though, for the side of XSET.
Much better start, but with everything that they had, it's only a 1-kill advantage. That's one thing that I will say you have to give some credit to Sentinels for. Suspector picks up 1 though, and Artic another. So now Frosty's going to have to stay alive with that heat wave in his hand because he's last player alive. And this has been a great push actually coming in, and what a stick that is as well from Suspector, taking Frosty down to the grave with him.
Just like that. Nice little 4-kill lead for them. We'll see what SnakeBite can do. Going to actually just wisely take the heat wave and retreat. Now has the help coming in, and now they get the damage. They might go here.
Yeah, look at the difference in the scoreline, though. It's now 11-6 to XSET, and you can see why they're very confident on this map. Every single time they're pushing, it's convincing. Suppressed is picking up another, and at the moment, they're just focusing on these players. SnakeBite manages to get a trade, but that's about as good as it gets here. It's 14-7. XSET doubling up on Sentinels.
Very nice heat wave drop there to get the extra timing there on the frames just to get that extra kill. But like you said, still, XSET came to play in this game type, and the scrim results so far are proving true that XSET certainly knows how to play this game type and maybe knows how to play in terms of style against the side of Sentinels.
Royal 2 struggling on Aquarius once again at the start of this game. He's currently sat on a donut, 0 and 5 now for Royal 2. As Suspector picks up yet another kill. He's 8 and 2 at the moment, Suspector. You can see why he is #1 for KDA.
Absolutely, and you didn't see that in game #1. Suspector had a little bit more respectful stats in terms of how game #1 went, but certainly not the stats you expect to see from the best KDA in the league. However, it's a very different start for him, 8 and 2 right now.
I'll tell you what, XSET are picking apart Sentinels here. It is looking ugly for Sen. And I mean, that move there from SnakeBite says everything you need to know, just running out, desperately trying to find anything, get anything going for his team. It's 23-9, Andy. 24-9 now, as XSET say, hey, don't write us off quite yet.
I'll tell you what, if you were hoping to see a spicy Saturday, that's what we're delivering here in this first series of the day. If you caught that game #1, you probably didn't expect to see a 25-11 scoreline, more than doubling the score of their opponents, but that's exactly what XSET is doing here, and we have a series on our hands.
Sentinels trapped inside of the base as well. SnakeBite's trying to push out with those dynamos. He's not going to be doing too much damage. Suspector's going to be here, teaming up with his Artic to try and collapse onto these players. It's not going to happen for now. SnakeBite and Sentinels will finally get 3 dead here for XSET. Is this the start they need to get back into this? You can rally kills back-to-back here. Sentinels need to do it quickly, though.
It's true. It would be possible. We've seen teams do it, and we've seen crazier things happen, especially when you talk about Sentinels. This would be a devastating comeback. We'll have to see if Sentinels can slowly climb back in this. It'll probably take them till around the 40 kill mark if they're able to do it, but we'll have to see.
3 dead here for XSET. 27-18. He looks a little bit more respectable all of a sudden. Suspector trying to get away from SnakeBite and managing to do so as well. Suppress will pick up a kill onto Royal 2. At the moment, SnakeBite has been no shields for what feels like an eternity at the moment. Hopefully the Halo gods will shine down on him in a few seconds to get those shields back. But 28-20, it's now an 8-kill game.
Yeah, this game was just 25-10, and now it is 28-20. So right now we are on the trajectory of this game potentially ending very differently than it started. Make that a 6-kill game. And before we could even talk about it, Sentinels has done it. This game is now not just a 6-kill game, it's a 5-kill game. 23-28, Sentinels answering back, and this would be a dagger if they could tie this score right now, 4-kill game.
Oh boy, here we go. LethuL picks up another 24-28 now, and Cratos is going to be taken down by Frosty, who you might have noticed has got a little bit of camo to play with as well. 3 kills, the difference between the two teams. It's almost tied up here.
This was 25-10. That's a 17-5 run from Sentinels just now. And what a statement from them. Make it a 2-kill game. This is essentially tied up 1-kill game. And I don't know what you're thinking if you're on the side of XSET. We are tied at 30-30. Are you kidding me?
20 kills to go for either team. I thought this one was over. But Sentinels did not. Suppress somehow stays alive in the base, though. Oh, the bloom from the sidekick not quite connecting. LethuL comes in. Frosty comes in as well. It's a 1-kill lead now for Sen.
This is absolutely outrageous, and this is what the best teams in the world can do. It doesn't matter if they're down by 15 in a Slayer. They'll bring it back. I predicted it would take them till the 40-kill mark. My God, did they ever shut that down. They did it at 30, outslaying their opponents by an unbelievable margin there. 20 kills to 5.
All of a sudden, it's a lot closer between the two teams when I'm talking about trades. Trades across the board now. It hasn't been those big swings that we saw from either side at the start of this game. 34-32 the score, though. 2-kill lead here. Make that a 4-kill lead as Frosty and SnakeBite will pick up kills. There's a stick coming in, though.
Very nice.
Artic making a play, though, to keep XSET in it. If he falls in that situation, it's not going to allow his teammates to come off free spawn, but Frosty puts him in the bin.
39-35, it's a 4-kill lead for Sentinels, and if you are on the side of XSET, if you are one of those players or the coach, you are wondering what the hell just happened. This was a runaway Slayer. This looked like a matchmaking stat and a guaranteed steak dinner, but now it is anything but. Camo
in the hands of SnakeBite. It's going to be dropped down. It wasn't activated, so the camo still available top middle. XSET pick up 3 kills as well. Frosty last alive here. Tries to get the stick onto the player inside of the base, trying to survive as long as he can, but now look at the score again. A little bit of a rally here coming in from XSET.
This is what we came for. 42-39 here.
SnakeBite knew where that camo was. He just picked it up top middle.
There it is. This could be big here. This could be game in his hands.
Frosty picks up 1. 7 kills to go now for Sentinels. There's Cratos, though, with a grenade to cross the 40-point mark here for XSET. Artic tries to stay alive. Not going to happen, son, as Frosty works with SnakeBite. Suppressed is trying to hunt down SnakeBite, but no! SnakeBite jumps back out to pick up the 45th, but it's 3 kills the difference between the two teams.
Look at all the information from SnakeBite. First of all, amazing trigger discipline, amazing timing, but look at all the information he's getting his team here on the flank. Camo's out, but he's already behind enemy lines.
Cratos gets beaten down from the thrust. Now SnakeBite is behind enemy lines. 47 kills on the board now for Sentinels, make it 48-49. 1 kill away. Sentinels from taking home game number 2, and it's one of the craziest comebacks we've seen so far in Halo Infinite.
Here we go, the last one. It's in the fridge, and he finds it. It's a killing spree to end the game. And as you said, one of the most wild comebacks we have seen in competitive Halo history. Take a look at Cratos on the stage. Can't believe it, leaning back. That game was 25-10. And Sentinels brings it back in one of the most dominating fashions we have ever seen.
Absolutely ridiculous. And that is what can happen on Aquarius though, Slayer. I will say it, and we will see it again happen. You can chain together 8, 10, 12, 15, I can't even remember how many it was in total, but you can do it on Aquarius if you get that 4 dead. Sentinels though, not only did they get a 4 dead, they got a 12 dead, it felt like at one point. It was back to back to back to back wipes across the board of XSET.
They went 20 kills and 5 deaths in that comeback to tie the game at 30. That was overslaying the opponents 5 times in a row while only sacrificing 1 death on each rotation. That is crazy. We've been doing this a long time. I don't know if we've ever seen that clinical of a comeback and that efficient in terms of only exchanging 1 death for 4 or 5 times in a row. It's crazy.
And the most ridiculous thing about that game as well was XSET did that at the start of the game as well, and I thought it was done. I thought it was over. I thought we were heading to game 3 all tied up, but now as we head to game 3, it is Sentinels who only need to win 1 more. I mean, the scoreline is something just to keep your eyes on here, because if you're just joining us, I don't know what just happened.
This will now be the benchmark. This is now the textbook for when you are down by 15 kills. Is it possible to bring the game back? Someone will say yes. Take a look at HCS Anaheim. Saturday, series number 1. Watch what Sentinels does to XSET when they were down 25-10. It's an unbelievably impressive feat that we've just seen from the Sentinel side, and I really can't say enough about it and how devastating for XSET.
You know what the scariest thing about that is for everyone else in the bracket? Sentinels do that kind of thing, and they only do it when they're playing well. And so far today, they have looked pretty good against XSET. You have to say, a scary, scary start, but then when things started to click, boy, did they click. A killing spree for SnakeBite to close things out. No emotion on their faces. A little lift of the eyebrows from the man with the most, what's the word, most active eyebrows in Halo. I'm going to put that.
I think you're right.
I think he's got that above his mantelpiece. But that's the series score. 50-43. Sentinels up by 2.
An amazing scoreline, not one we expected to see after the first few moments of Aquarius Slayer. We are now, though, heading to Streets Oddball. If you're just joining us, this was a bit different when these teams met in scrims and practice prior to this week. I believe it was something around 2:13 to 1:33 or so. So the game did end on time. However, that's still quite an impressive scoreline for the side of XSET. However, if the last game was any indicator, we probably shouldn't put too much stock, as you always say, into those scrim results. XSET needs to turn it on. They need to turn it on now, but I don't know, honestly, how you do that after that match that we just saw.
Yeah, what do you say? What do you say to your teammates in that position? It's like, well, we threw. All right, time to go to game 3. That's pretty much what you have to say.
You threw the game, and
you make a joke of it. You have to make light of it.
You threw the game, and you need to throw it out because you need to get ready for game number 3.
Well, here we go then. We're ready for game number 3. I'm sure everyone who's watching at home is ready for game number 3 as well. Sentinels look to march through the upper side of this bracket with a good, convincing win against XSET. They need 1 more map. SnakeBite, our first POV.
Look at the presence from Sentinels there. They are not afraid to be bottom middle. They send 3 players on the bottom middle angles. Frosty's in right away. There's no waiting for rockets. There's no baiting the rockets. They are in there. They put the presence on bottom middle, and they win the power weapons immediately, but suppressed. Fantastic shot there.
Yeah, he's got the red gun, as it's affectionately called. That Stalker rifle is enough to counteract anything that you can pick up on the map. Royal 2 now. He's going to feel a little bit of the wrath of it, but not too much for now. Having to back up from those pillars to make sure that he plays his life. But even though Sentinels did get the rockets off the break here, even though they were the most aggressive, what's the one stat that we always look at in Oddball? It's ball time, and at the moment, no one's got their hands on it.
That's right, it's ball time, and it's only ball time. You might see a lot of other stat categories coming out of this game, but that really is all that will matter. It's an opportunity for another mental reset from XSET. As we said, pretty talented in this game type, and they know how to play it, but we'll have to see if they can put the numbers on the board.
Now the question is, can LethuL get this ball back into Tram with his life? The answer is no, but Frosty is going to be there with a flank onto Cratos and Suspector. That's completely cleared out the arcade side of the map here where Frosty finds himself. Ball is down though. Suspector is trying to rotate through Tram to pick it up and take it back towards his teammates, but from the break here,
look how
12-1 the score between the two.
Yeah, pardon me. Look how Frosty does not prioritize the ball grab there. He actually goes back to rail, stairs, and bottom neons. Look, hit the nades as well.
Did he just stick someone off the wall? I need to see that back. Replay ops, and please clip that because I need to see what happened exactly there to kind of break down if he just did something absolutely ridiculous. Not sure if Halo or Counter-Strike with those kind of nade spots, but Frosty showing that the man knows how to do other things that others don't.
And look at the patience here. How long has Frosty been at B Arcade? He's been here for about 45 seconds. He wins battles in Arcade. It's a killing spree at the B part of the map. Incredible stuff there from Frosty. He knows where he needs to be to anchor for his team.
Artic picks up a double kill though, and that's a perfect time to do so because that rocket launcher is now coming up. 29-5 the score in this first round of Oddball. And it looks like the rockets have disappeared. Who's got them though? That's the question. It's Suspector from XSET as we see LethuL taking down Artic in the feet.
Have to see what they do here with these rockets. Big moment, already down by 30 points. They need to make sure that they step on the gas pedal right now. They cannot let this first round run away.
Ball taken.
Looks like Sentinels are aware those rockets aren't in their hands as well, so the positioning's been pretty good from them. Suspector needs to make a play here. Needs to take down the ball carrier. SnakeBite, though, is going to survive. And look at that. Immediately, LethuL drops that Oddball to say to his buddy, I got your back.
And look at the angles that Suspector has. He does not have good angles for the Rockets. They brought those to Red Room because they were able to play great angles where the Rockets are not going to be that effective. And just like that, he's taken down with only getting one kill.
Frosty with the flank as well. Now he's going to be pushing up to try and take care of Cratos and Artic. Little positioning, great positioning coming in from him, but the shots from Artic equally as good. Cratos now taken down. A killing spree for LethuL, 53-5, and the ball in his hands too.
Once again, leading on the board in terms of kills. Sentinels very comfortable in this game, and obviously a huge margin on the Oddball scoreboard as well. Just like you said, 58-5. Now Bone Dog just patrolling on pillars. Suspector has to run away. And look, LethuL can now watch the exact angles on rail. He'll probably stay alive here. He certainly does. Now he's got a flank.
Now he's aware as well that there might be a player doubling back, but you're completely right. The flank and the angle taken by LethuL. He was in perfect position to clean up those kills, but his teammates already killed him. Now he's on the front foot again, killing the respawners.
Suspector is being forced to run circles around tires and B stairs, and LethuL's happy to run behind him because guess what? All the while, they're putting a few more seconds on the board.
Yeah, and where's LethuL going to spawn? Pretty close to his teammates here, you would imagine. Suppress trying to do what he can mid-map. 66-5 to score. Sentinels doing a good job of at least making sure they turn these kills into ball time. That was our one question coming in from yesterday. Can they make the kills count?
That's the question now. Suppress does get the rockets in hand, and we have yet to see, aside from the opening of that Aquarius Slayer, we have yet to see control from the side of XSET in this series. An opportunity for them to do so. Still 2 minutes on the clock, rockets in hand.
We'll say this though, XSET have controlled rockets for the majority of this game. We saw, I think it was Suspector, who had them the last time. Managed to pick up one kill, took a little bit of time to do so, but this time it's Suppress who has the rockets, but they need to make a play here. They're going to be able to pick up the kill here onto SnakeBite. They also had the ball in their hands, and with the rocket launcher in the hands of Suppress here, they're going to be able to clear some space.
Yeah, keeps checking. You see, keeps checking rail, keeps checking to see if anyone's around. He actually didn't get eyes on either of those players there. Very great stuff from the side of Sentinels to not expose, but presumably should have a rocket angle here on SnakeBite unless he gets distracted. But right now, a little bit more time on the board for the side of XSET. They do hit the 30-point mark, and nice work here from Suppress as XSET's starting to catch a little bit of momentum.
Really, really impressive hold this from XSET as well. Sentinels find themselves 4 dead. Frosty and LethuL are going to be spawning by the red room, and now you can see, look at Suppressed. Just taking some angles, making sure he backs away, can't finish off the kill onto Frosty. And now the push is going to come in. LethuL manages to take him down, but the damage done by Suppressed, very, very impressive. And all of this while the ball is the other side of the map.
Very, very impressive work, as you say, from Suppress. A great job there. Look at the scoreboard right now. Just like that, they brought this game back. It was about 66-5. Now it's 66-51. This is essentially a tied game, and once again, XSET is back in this series. We'll have to see if they can close out the round.
It's been a topsy-turvy series the last couple of games. First game was completely dominated by Sentinels. Double kill here for LethuL. But apart from that, it's been back and forth between the two teams. 71-51 the score. Only 20 points the difference between the two teams. And that's just one hold, even half a hold here for this game to be tied up for XSET.
Absolutely, XSET needs to make sure they do not let this one slip through the cracks. They've done it before, and as recently as the last game, a heartbreaking, devastating loss if you didn't catch it. blew a 15-kill lead in that Slayer now, but all they could focus on is this game number 3. It's a 20 points separating in this round. As a reminder, they'll need to be the best of 3 rounds to win the game.
LethuL trying to get away with that rocket launcher. Sentinels managing to secure this for the first time in quite some time, and it reflects in the score, right? The last 2 rocket launchers have gone in the hands of XSET. They've managed to get that score in their hands, but now that the Oddball is in the hands and the rockets of Sentinels, maybe they're going to get pretty close with a minute left on the clock here to taking home this first round.
Look at LethuL just waiting, so smart, so wise to not shoot that rocket on pillars. A lot of players would have been tempted to let that rocket go on pillars. Instead, he just waits, drops around in the rocket pocket, picks up a double kill, but a double kill answered on the other side as well from Suspector.
Frosty with the ball in his hands, though, more importantly. And the score is racking up here. 10 points to go. SnakeBite clears the way towards Tram. Where are those kills going to be coming in, though? That's the question. Where are the respawns coming in? It sounds like, and looks like they're coming in towards Tram here. So Frosty's going to be cutting mid-map, trying to flank behind anyone who's going to be pushing down on that street. Picks up 1. There should be another couple of kills here for him as well, as the players are weak. Manages to get 1 at least, but 3 players do fall from XSET as his teammates clean up the mess that's left.
Suppressed, last player alive, knows he needs to rotate the ball. This is a great play. Able to stay alive, able to rotate the ball. Eventually he will fall, but he did enough because 3 of his teammates are up now. They have respawned, and now they can try to live to fight another day.
Now this is where Sentinels have to be careful. They know they only need 3 seconds more of that ball time, but if they fail on this push,
oh my god,
then this could be XSET's way back into the game. Suppressed, vital for him to pick up that kill. Frosty has managed to sneak behind enemy lines, but I think that Cratos has actually managed to sneak him out here. Frosty, where's he gone? Frosty gets taken down, or should I say takes down Cratos, who had that Bulldog. That kind of a play is going to open the map up, but look at this, 6 seconds left on the game clock, but it's going to be stopped here because they need to hold this ball in their hands.
They've only got a 4-second cushion here. Notice the ball timer has stopped there. 4 seconds left. The timer will continue now. 3, 2, 1. They're going to wait and let that reset. That will be Sentinels taking the round.
Sentinels put the first round on the ball here on Streets. Oddball, but again, a valiant battle being put up by XSET, especially in that sort of second third, I would say, of the game where they had control of those couple of rockets in a row. But for now, the story is Sentinels just need 1 more round to complete the trio.
And you have to wonder, does XSET have what it takes to put a round on the board and try to extend this series? It feels like there's all the momentum going towards the side of Sentinels, and even when you thought XSET was going to bring this game back, unable to close out that first round, now they're just 1 round away from defeat and a trip to the elimination bracket.
They have the ball in their hands, though. You can see the rotation is coming back towards Suspector. White, he's got rockets. LethuL had no idea as he got caught out trying to cut that ball player as he made the rotation from the pink street. Frosty picks up 1, though. Suspector has to turn around and gets the beat down. There is 1 rocket down in the chamber. Who can get their hands on it?
Look at that play from Frosty. They just collapsed on that rocket player. LethuL too. LethuL flies right in. Once again, how many times have we seen it? Sentinels, they travel in packs, they travel in pairs, and my God, does it pay off.
LethuL is trying to be aggressive as well towards Heaven, and Suppressed at the moment is going to get swarmed by players from Sentinels. Grenades coming in, Bulldogs beat down. It's not a nice place to be, as he has to run the gauntlet and does not come out the other side of it.
Now back A is a dangerous place right now. SnakeBite just going to try to stay alive with the Bulldog. Take a look at them screen watching there. They're covering every nook, every cranny. They've got the angles covered.
Cratos picks up 1 in the team fight, though. LethuL is going to have the commando in his hands and managed to trade it out almost immediately. But where is that ball? Is anyone in position to pick it up? Look at this, SnakeBite. Luckily, just caught someone out the corner of his eye, the peripheral vision. Just good enough for him to see that player to get the beat down. 2 down per side at the moment. Suspector picks up that ball.
Slower start for this game. It's good news for XSET, right? Sentinels simply has not run away with this game yet. And I think XSET is slowly starting to put a little bit more points on the board right now. They've managed to get 20. They're trying to get these play balls as well. So if XSET can continue this, they might be able to squeak out this round. But they're going to need to make sure that they step it up in the slaying department.
Yeah, really important that I think it was Suspector who was on that tower, managed to throw that ball out for just a few seconds. And now, off the respawn, who's behind enemy lines? It's Suspector, but so is Frosty's alarm at the moment. He knew that he was there, and he zoned in on him and made sure that he wasn't going to be too much of a problem. Now the players are going to be trapped around tires here for XSET. So you can see Frosty immediately recognizes his map situation, pushes towards this with a Bulldog, picks up 1, 3 dead for XSET.
Look how efficient they are when they have that Bulldog out. Both Frosty and SnakeBite, they barely peek around corners. They get the kill and they fire right back. They don't take any extra damage more than they need to. SnakeBite also with 2 rockets here in tires.
And with that, the lead changes. Sentinels go into the lead. SnakeBite connects with 1 but doesn't pick up the kill, but Frosty is going to be there to turn that damage into a +1 on his statistics. Now up in heaven, he's going to have that rocket launcher in his hand. And look at the timing, the communication.
Yep.
Perfect for that rocket to hit.
The only way you pre-fire that rocket from heaven into tires is if you have that call-out bottom mid going tires, perfectly timed. As you said, perfect communication as well. It'll be a minor lead for them. 2 dead for a second on the side of Sentinels, so we'll have to see if XSET can come up the back of those sleighs and get a setup.
It looks like they've got the spawns coming in here. Suppressor's got tires control, and look at the spawn for Artic as well. That's going to be on the pink street. However, Frosty with the Bulldog's going to pick up 1, which is going to make this a little bit more uncomfortable, as Cratos now is going to be playing a very sneaky position. But look at this, already the swarm seems to be coming in, but Cratos should be able to win this battle here against Frosty, who is weak jumping up from the ATM. Ball is down at the moment, and Cratos a little bit isolated.
Yeah, Cratos trying to see if he needed to check an angle. He doesn't want to grab the ball and get slayed immediately, so it does very well to check the corner before he brings the ball back. Then he rotates the ball back to his spawner. So right now, once again, a scoring opportunity. The lead will change, and XSET will take the lead once again.
SnakeBite is going to win that battle. Cratos not connected with the Bulldog. Very important for him to do, because that's cleaned out the pink street. Artic had to be careful as well. A SnakeBite nearly made yet another play there. Unfortunately, this time cannot convert that one into a kill. LethuL picks up the damage done by Frosty with the Bulldog in his hands now. Only 1 shell to work with, though, for Frosty, so he's going to be swapping to that BR almost immediately. Rockets popping in a few seconds too.
A few good slays there coming in from XSET, but it didn't really translate the time on the board. Only a 5-second lead after all that, and boom, boom, go the Rockets as well.
Only 1 out of the 2, though, being converted for Cratos. So not too bad of a play there for Sentinels. 1 player alive per side at the moment. You can see that LethuL decides, hey, I'm near the oddball, and I'm pretty sure that spawn is going to be across map, so there's a chance for me to scrape a little bit more time. With that, the lead changes once again here. Sentinels with a slim, marginal lead.
Look how much information LethuL gets. He's not afraid to peek neons to rail. He wants to know if anyone's pushing B Street, checking rail, checking B stairs. Also able to drop and shoot so fast. This is a veteran Halo player. A lead change again now. It's going to be the side of Sentinels leading 39-32.
I mean, look at the team fight that's coming into the moment from Sentinels.
Dude,
LethuL's just playing on the ball, and there's always someone to shoot for him.
If there is a zombie apocalypse and I'm hiding in my basement, I have LethuL with me, and I'm giving the man a shotgun, and I am pretty sure we will survive.
I don't know what to say about that one, because I feel like LethuL in a zombie apocalypse probably would be the first to go down. But anyway, Artic's going to be inside of the cafeteria. He's going to have the Bulldog in his hand, and I'd like to see the amount of kills that have been picked up by this weapon so far across this map, because it seems like every POV at the moment we see someone with that Bulldog in their hands doing the damage. But XSET now with the ball in their hands, trying to rotate back, but SnakeBite is the priority kill for them. Frosty picks up 1, Suspector trying to deal with SnakeBite, but at the moment he's being incredibly elusive.
The Bulldog has been so important here back. A very nice thrust coming in from Artic. We'll see if he can help over on Frosty as well. Very nice jump into tires as well to select that angle. He'll pick up that one. So 4 dead, as you said, only 1 fresh spawner, that's World 2, and now we have an opportunity. It will be a lead change again, one of the most back and forth oddballs we've seen in a long time.
Now, I will say this, World 2 just got a really good spawn towards Arcade, and I'm pretty sure he has a clear push towards where that oddball is coming in. Rockets are going to be coming up as well, and I think that Artic's actually recognized the situation. He might have gone for a play ball there to try and get an angle on these rockets. Drop wall goes down as well, and at the moment he's trying to do it all, but at the same time doing it all but not doing too much. Had to be a little bit more decisive there.
Yeah, nice little 360 getaway from Frosty as well. Rockets will go into tires now, into PD as well, and they're going to continue holding once again. And now it will be Sentinels taking the lead once again. Trust us, folks, this normally does not happen with this back and forth tug of war scoring. And oddball! Frosty very efficient there to not trade as well with that double kill.
Although Pink Street might not be the most intimidating of names for where Frosty picked up those kills, but it certainly ain't the street you want to tread down lightly, as you see the Rockets and the BR combining together for Frosty. And with that, Sentinels now have a more established lead than either team has had for the majority of this second round here. 74-53, as LethuL is going to pick up a killing spree too.
On a killing spree as well, he's 14-9. Teammate Frosty 15-9 right now. Impressive numbers once again. Almost turns 2 somehow out of that. I think he almost got a 2-for-1 back there. He'll pick up that one as you hear it nearing victory in the announcer audio. 81-53, and not so close anymore on set.
Ball rotated away from the push that's coming in as well from XSET. If they can cross towards Arcade, this might be the game here.
They're going to keep going.
Cratos is trying to do what he can. Suspector now has to push because he knows if that ball gets away, then that will be the series done and dusted. Frosty is going to be taken down in the feed. LethuL falls as well. SnakeBite now has the responsibility with this Bulldog to hold this push off, but what a push it was from XSET.
My God, it's like a scene out of Mars Attacks there with that Sentinel beam. As hard as that thing hit, he'll pick up a kill on the bottom of B stairs. As you said, only fifth. Look at the timer here. That's going to be it. 2 seconds left. They got to hold the ball. It's going to fall. Presumably not a ball grab. He's going to drop it. Sentinels will win the series with a score of 3-0 and a dominant win for this side.
That reminds us of just what Sentinels can do that series. It's 3-0 in the history books, but we learned so much about what we can expect to see from them, not just today, but maybe even tomorrow as well. GG's to XSET, of course. It was a very competitive series at times, but Sentinels just showing a bit of class, something they may have been missing yesterday.
They are right now, as you say, fighting at a class above, especially when you look at what they were able to do with that Slayer comeback. Pretty wild results. You got to be proud of the Sentinels, boys, if you're a Sen fan. On the other side, as you said, XSET kept the series close at times. I think they've got a lot of things to look at, though, in terms of the tape if they want to be able to show up in the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, we saw one of the craziest comebacks we've ever seen in competitive Halo. Slayer-wise, that second map of the series. If you're only just joining us now, flip back through the VOD and make sure that you take a look at that, because it was a ridiculous run coming in from Sentinels. But I think what we saw from them, Andy, was what we expected from Sentinels coming into this tournament, right? A little bit more efficiency, the kills are there, everything just starting to click for them.
Everything's there. I think you put it perfectly. If you look at that Bazaar Slayer, like we said, that is now the benchmark, excuse me, Bazaar CTF. That is the benchmark of how you play Bazaar CTF, and you look at Aquarius Slayer, if you start to throw the game and go down by 15, how you bring the game back.